Oil short and BTC short looking the most likely. This is the daily entry. I'm bringing you day trading setups on the Nasdaq, Dow, gold, oil, and of course BTC. Let's go. Now, the big news today is got to be the Fed meeting minutes. No doubt going to cause some kind of volatility. Everyone wants to know, is the market, are they going to be more hawkish or are they going to be more dovish? And right now we've seen the Dow and the Nasdaq falling over a hell of a lot. Are we going to get some kind of bounce out of this today? Now, in terms of the crypto stuff, we do have the White House Crypto Summit happening today. And yesterday we did have some news from the SEC regarding some new proposed rule changes. So that could be relatively bullish for crypto, but is this ultimately just going to take us into another short on BTC? So we got a lot to talk about here. Let's jump into our oil chart and just see what is cracking at the moment. So you can see this is oil on the 2-hour time frame, and right now we are in this tight little range, and there's no real trade for me in this area at the moment until we start pushing higher. 86, 87 is what I covered yesterday. Remember, that gap starts over there just around 87, and then we've got that nice macro 618 fib waiting. So that's the first short zone there for me on oil. And remember, if we get an oil rejection in a zone like that, that is typically where you expect some of these other markets to bounce. So if these other markets are dropping, that is where we're going to start looking for longs on those assets. And then ultimately a long on oil looks to me at the moment like a move into this 83 region. So if we start dropping today and we get the Nasdaq and the Dow pumping and oil drops into support, look out. That oil bounce is probably going to be your Nasdaq and Dow sitting at resistance zones. Now, let's jump into the Nasdaq. Yesterday, the Nasdaq was quite a banger for us. Couple of zones played out really nicely. And on that live trading on the Chart Hackers YouTube that I did yesterday, you saw the fruits of that first Nasdaq zone. Now, subsequent to that, the market dropped again and picked up further Nasdaq orders. And I am still sitting in a few positions here after that bounce, but I'm slowly starting to cut these things, especially if we start running out of momentum. Now, what does that mean for us today on the Nasdaq? What are we looking for? So let's just jump back into the Nasdaq chart, and you can see I've mapped out the 45-minute time frame. And essentially what I'm looking for here is the highest probability setups that I can give you today with the lowest amount of risk. So if we start looking at areas of interest, I'd say the short for me has to be on some kind of pump during the course of the day into 29,700. Look at this region over here. Nice undercarriage, nice VWAP coming into play, and a 382 looking good. So any pumps on the Nasdaq, guys, I think we get a relatively tight short. 29,700 region looks pretty good to me. If they do push it higher, we'll deal with that, but that's around 29,950, and I'll obviously be dropping updates in the Chart Hackers Discord for you during the course of the day. You're going to find any trades that I take in terms of the daily entry will be updated there for you guys. Now, if this Nasdaq falls over a little bit more, what do we want to deal with? Well, there's two main zones at the moment. So I'm going to say this first zone has been used up quite a bit, so I would be super cautious on a second visit into this zone, 29,360. So I'd say this is probably a 50-50 area here for me now, and this is especially because we've tapped it twice. Now, there's no guarantees on if we're going to get the next big bounce. So 29,350. And then lower down, this is a banger for today. If we start melting down today, I really like this 29,180 looking pretty good. Look at this wick sitting on the side here. Let me just highlight this for you guys. Look at that wick. We want to come and take out this wick. There is also some pivot levels involved there as well. So I'm pretty confident that is going to give you a nice bounce today on the Nasdaq. So I'll make sure this is in the Chart Hackers Discord waiting for you guys. Let's talk about the Dow. And less exciting than the Nasdaq yesterday, the Dow failed to hit my big zones. So I still have these orders waiting on the Dow, but for me, there's two main zones that I'm interested in during the course of the day. Number one is a drop, 53,200. This region over here, I still have orders waiting on UBIT, 53,200 looking decent. If we pump higher, this is a very high conviction short zone, 53,875 looks pretty good to me. If the market melts down, we'll obviously be updating as the day goes on. I just want to highlight there's another pivot level over here on the Dow. You can see, look at that previous resistance. We're now flipping that into support. So if we do drop lower, I am looking for that guy to come into play. So that is 52, call it 52,910 on the Dow. Remember, guys, what you want to do is make sure your trading exchange, you're tying in those exact figures with the charts that I'm using. Now, I'm using the capital.com charts, and there's sometimes maybe a $10 or $20 variation between your trading exchange and these accounts. So make sure that they are tied up accordingly. You can always tie in your exchanges and just look at the candles on your exchanges. So for example, if I open up my Dow orders, I just want to show you guys, I've got orders waiting on UBIT here at the moment, and they are sitting at 53,244 and 53,200 on the Dow. So if we drop into those zones, that is where I'm expecting some action, and we'll cut them pretty soon if we start losing those areas. We're not going to get married to this thing. We'll cut early, and then we'll deal with any drops lower down that come out during the course of the day. Now, let's talk about gold. It's been a little bit choppy for me and didn't quite hit my long zone. So yesterday, I gave you guys a long zone at this range low. You can see over there, we were looking for the bounce at 4,315, give or take. They dropped it down. We nearly got the entry, and then gold is now bounced. So a slight front run on that zone, but I would say no urgency here. We don't have to rush this trade. Like if gold does push higher, we still have the short a little bit higher up, say 4,440, looking interesting for a short. And if we do lose some momentum on gold and it drops down, remember my higher time frame trade is 4,222. Looking interesting to me on gold. So wait for those updates. I'll be dropping them in the daily entry channel during the course of the day. Now, let's talk about the big dog, Bitcoin. And I covered this, the series of lower highs and higher lows during the course of yesterday, and you can see it's created this little triangle or wedge, whatever you want to call it, forming, and this tells us we are at some point going to get an explosive move to the up or to the downside. We obviously can't guarantee which way it's going to go, but we can be reactive in these areas. So just in terms of this, that short play from yesterday made a lot of sense, and now you know why I had conviction, and you know why I was shorting Bitcoin for that second pump yesterday. It was that flush through that region and then that drop. So looking at this daily chart, it would be reasonable to say this thing can drop to 62.3 and it can drop to 61.2. But if, for example, today we get a big catalyst out of this White House crypto summit, for example, you might find that the market can squeeze into 67, 68K. So we just need to be reactive in those zones. But at the moment, I'm more interested in some of the lower time frame reaction areas. And I've actually preset a sell order here on Bitbase for a short on Bitcoin, 65,250. And it's a pretty easy invalidation over here. So let me just show you the lower time frame charts and what is going on. This is Bitcoin on the 2 hour. And in terms of yesterday's short, it played out beautifully. But now today, a fresh day, and we got to figure out what are our various options here in terms of BTC. So you can see at the moment, I have highlighted for the hackers this morning in my morning report, 64 and 63.7. These are the two most obvious lower time frame bounce zones where I'm expecting some kind of short-term move up on BTC. But in terms of the conviction and where can we short this thing, there's two main areas of interest. Number one is obviously the big one where you've seen my Bitbase short order that I've placed, and that is taking out this macro or slightly more macro 618 fib. This is around about 65,100 into 65.5. I do like these wicks. There's a lot of bearish order blocks sitting in that region as well. So if we pump into that zone, that's a high conviction short with a relatively easy exit plan. 65,600 or 65,605 can be a nice stop loss there to exit that short position. But then there is another option, and this could come into play during the course of the day. If you dial into BTC, you can see there's a chance that we are going to form some kind of bearish head and shoulders pattern. So we might get a push up here on BTC, and then they might come and drop this down. So I'm not going to take that short because I'm already in a short, but if we do get a pump out of BTC, I would say look out around about 64,600 here. If we do pump higher, for me, that's just an add opportunity to the existing BTC short. Okay, so guys, there's your daily entry. Keep it tight today. Play safe. We are live trading. By the time you watch this, you're going to see me live trading on YouTube around about 2 p.m. SAST. So make sure you tune in there. We'll see if we can catch the NAS and the Dow play as well. Good luck out there. See you later.